Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. 2-0, a solid start for Manchester City, getting our Premier League campaign underway with 3 Premier League points, and that is what matters. The performance was solid. I thought we were decent. There's definitely some new tactics at play. I've got a video for that coming up as well, and I'm excited to show you that. Player ratings for this video, and I think there's a lot of positives in terms of individual positives came out of that game. A couple of concerns and areas in certain players' game. Doku, we're going to talk about Doku as well, and what bothers people and what people love about Doku. He is going to divide the fan base. And I do think he needs support from us, the fans. I think the fans need to recognise that this player is going to do things that get people on the edge of their seat, excite people, beat people, do things that very few players in the world can do. Dokus do not grow on trees. They are very rare types of players, unique. But what people are talking about and the things that are frustrating is the end product, the final details, the decision making, just that ability to control almost your emotions in that heat of the moment. Once you've beaten the fullback, relax the muscles and just get the right technique on and connect with that ball in the sweet spot. You know, you've got to get those little details right. As good as he is at beating a fullback, there is no one like Doku at beating fullback, because the numbers I'm going to show you now are going to be like, well, what are you complaining about, Johnny? Well, I've already shown you as the highlights that I've just put across your screen for you to indicate that Doku, he does have an end product problem. Now, that doesn't mean get Jack Grealish back on the pitch. I'm an Englishman who only likes Jack Grealish. Get over yourself. There's nothing to do with where you're from, and there's no favouritism on this channel. I want to see Doku given a bigger run out. I want to see Doku play week in, week out with Savinho on the other wing. That's the future of Manchester City this season. Hopefully Savinho's injury isn't as bad as first feared. Apparently it's not as bad as first feared, so that's good news coming out of this. But let's get going. You've already seen the player stats on your screen, as you can see. It was quite a close game. Total shots are pretty similar. Possessions pretty similar. XG's not a million miles apart as well. Chelsea actually edging it in the XG, which is fair. One big chance each. Passes were the same. Fouling each other reasonably similar. So it was a close game tactically and statistically. A reasonably close game. I just feel like Erling Haaland, once again, the difference maker. The one chance he was given in the first half he takes. The one chance he was given in the second half he gets on target. But, you know, he could have done a little bit better. But that's Erling Haaland for you. Ederson now. Kept a clean sheet. So that's one point that I'm going to give Ederson as a positive. I thought he was a bit flappy, though. There was one moment in that first half where Nicholas Jackson puts it in after he fumbled a shot that he should either be parrying away for a corner or he should be collecting it and holding on to that ball, pushing it right back into the danger zone. Nicholas Jackson comes in and puts it into from the rebound, but offside. Got away with that one. There was a couple in the second half as well where a shot comes at him and he's trying to catch it and it fumbles. That could have gone through his hands. Luckily, it goes straight up into the air and he catches it. A cross came in the second half, getting his fingertips on it and causing more problem than it's worth. Just sometimes let the defenders deal with it. Clean sheet, though. 3 saves to speak of, which was good. Distribution was typical of Ederson. Very good distribution from Ederson. A little bit flappy, though, so I've given him a 6.5, but clean sheet, can't complain. Diaz, solid as a rock. I loved everything he did at the back. Everything that came his way he dealt with. There was that one moment in the first half where I think it was a quick sloppy giveaway from Savinho, actually, who gave the ball away up in the first half, in our own half as well. And Ruben Diaz just dealt with it. Used his strength, used his know-how, his experience, got his body in front of Nicholas Jackson and dealt with it. His distribution was solid. The middle of that defence now for me is Ruben Diaz, and I'm excited to see the back 3, Akanji, Diaz and Gvardiol. I'm looking forward to seeing who can break down those 3. If those 3 stay as a flat back 3, great. Really good. 8 out of 10 for Ruben Diaz. Gvardiol, another 8 out of 10. I don't think I gave him enough credit yesterday, actually. Looking back at the game, having watched the game back and without the emotion running through my veins as it normally does. Watching it back with a cool head. You've got to put more respect on Gvardiol. Something I didn't do yesterday when I was speaking about Josko was how well he played. I went into it, I said he played well. Yeah, he didn't stand out in my mind watching the game for some reason, but he quietly went about his business and incredibly effectively. Look at the numbers, man. The numbers are fantastic. Pretty much a perfect defensive performance, in particular from Ruben Diaz and Josko Gvardiol, which is why they've both got 8 out of 10. Akanji, a little rusty. There was a pass that he gave away that was very dangerous to Nkunku. He got back, used his strength. Nkunku fouled him, which was the correct decision. There was a couple of moments he got spun on the halfway line. I remember that, and Ruben Diaz saved his bacon. I think it might have been Rico Lewis actually who got back and saved him from embarrassment, because on the halfway line, Nicholas Jackson spun Akanji. He overly committed to that. Second half though, Akanji settled. He calmed himself down, and he did absolutely everything right in the second half. First half a little bit rusty, and he can be forgiven for that. And overall, I think his second half performance saved him from getting anything less than a 7, which is why he's got a 7 out of 10. Rico, his numbers are not great in terms of like passing accuracy. That needs sorting out, Rico. That's something that's a definite concern for me, having a 71% passing accuracy. Far too loose with the ball, but he had the most difficult job on this pitch today. And there's a tactical video that I'm going to show you guys tomorrow and go into what his role actually was. A very subtle nuance to the tactics that we've seen from Rico Lewis. Inverting, and I'll talk about it in more detail tomorrow, but defensively, his numbers are fantastic. As you can see, 2 tackles, an interception, 2 clearances, and a block shot. It's the role that he played in this system, I think, that's very, very unique. It's something Kyle Walker, for me, cannot do. So if we continue with this system, Rico Lewis is now number 1 right back ahead of Kyle Walker because of the requirements of this position. He's got to fill in certain pockets of the pitch, getting forward. His positional awareness was fantastic. Defensively, though, Rico Lewis was absolutely fantastic, all over the place, preventing any sort of counter-attacks. And that role to push in and out of midfield, into right back into midfield, is so difficult, so demanding, and he nailed it for me. So another 8 out of 10 for Rico. Kovacic, man of the match for me, 9 out of 10. On almost perfect midfield performance, really. The goal is what's given him an extra 0.5 there, because I'd have given him an 8.5 looking back at his performance throughout this game. And he's popped one into the back of the net, which gets him a solid 9 out of 10 for me. Man of the match, hands down, 95% passing accuracy, 6 tackles, mate. You know what I mean? So protecting that back line, preventing them from having to do too much work. And he's carrying a lot of that midfield responsibility there, which we all were so concerned about without Rodri. I think he's answering a lot of questions in his last 2 performances in the Community Shield against United, a top 6 team, against Chelsea. Again, another top 6 side in the midfield on his own, with the occasional help of Rico Lewis and Bernardo Silva dropping deep. Ultimately, a pivot, single pivot on his own. Absolutely sensational. So I think this is the answer to cover for Rodri. I imagine Kovacic might find himself back on the bench, which is horrible to think about. But when Rodri comes back, I don't know what system he's going to play without swapping like for like Rodri for Kovacic, which is a shame for Kovacic, but knowing what he can do, fantastic. This is what, 15, 20 million we spent on Kovacic compared to the Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez 200 million combination. He absolutely bossed their midfield. He bossed the whole game. Kovacic yesterday. Unreal performance. 9 out of 10. Foden, 6.5. Quiet, to be honest. Second half came on. Right wing, I know people prefer to see him in the middle. Me too. I am one of those who would definitely rather see Phil Foden drifting into those pockets. The system did not require another midfielder in there. I think Bernardo Silva's versatility, vertical versatility, his ability to drop deep, Bernardo Silva, is why he had to stay in the middle, because Phil Foden is not the man to come and collect that ball off the centre-back. He could do it. I'm sure he could do it. It's not that he can't. It's just Bernardo Silva has got hours and hours of experience in doing that role over the last 3 or 4 years. Occasionally, Pep has called upon him to drop deep. We know Bernardo Silva can do that. He's tried and trusted in that role of midfield verticality, of which Phil Foden, he could do it. I just feel like he had to go on that right wing. Someone who can dribble better than Bernardo Silva as well in terms of beating the fullback. I think Phil Foden is probably a little bit more suited to that Savinho style role that we wanted to see him going one-on-one with Cucurella. The ball didn't come his way that often in the second half. Quiet performance from Phil Foden. Not too much impact, which is why he's got a 6.5. Didn't do anything wrong, but, 6.5. De Bruyne, good. Really solid. I thought his energy is what stood out to me. He was very, very mobile. Another area of his game is being tweaked with tactics that Pep Guardiola's introducing. Again, I'm going to show you that, so check out the next video, because I'm looking forward to showing you what City have been doing in the tactics. Is really, really interesting. But I thought Kevin De Bruyne was solid as a rock in that midfield. Offered himself, was available in unique ways that we've not seen from Kevin De Bruyne before. And his numbers are really good as well. And what most impressed me most was the energy levels, the fitness levels, his mobility, his ability to carry the ball, his ability to close down, press. He's winning ground duels, which is something that we saw phased out of his game a little bit last season. But his physicality was back, and it was good. It was good. And he's aging, he's aging. So it's good to see that he's looked after himself and his body is getting back to that peak level Kevin De Bruyne. Well into his 30s now, so keep this guy fit, and we're looking at 5 in a row. It's as simple as that. 7.5 for Kevin De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva, another 7.5. He got himself an assist. His role was really important in this game, like I've discussed already, with his vertical dropping deep and that versatility in the smooth operations in midfield. The way he can integrate with all of the players in all of the areas of the pitch is such a unique Bernardo Silva trait. To come and get it off the centre-back, then link up with the defensive midfield, then link up with the attacking midfield, go over to the wings and start building triangles on the sides of the pitch, and even lay it off for Erling Haaland to get an assist to his name. He was contributing to every single area of the pitch, Bernardo Silva, just quietly going about his business, as effective as ever. Superb from Bernardo Silva again. Another solid performance from him, 7.5. for Bernardo Silva, and I'm so excited for this midfield now. Really, really excited for the season. What I saw yesterday is huge, and I can't wait. This season could be a much more entertaining season than last season in terms of the football that we see. Can't wait. Right, Jérémy Doku, 7 out of 10. I've given him. The numbers are fantastic. There is no two ways about it that this guy's numbers are always going to be fantastic. But the numbers that we want to see is the final ball. We want to see assists, because a player with this level of numbers, he should be getting a minimum of 30 goal contributions per season. A player of that ability should be coming away with, whether it's 20 goals, 10 assists, 10 goals, 20 assists, or 15 goals and 15 assists, whatever it should be. A player who's getting this level of numbers, that is committing 9 dribbles and beating the player 6 times, getting into dangerous areas of the pitch. His key passes should be 3, 4, 5 passes per game. Getting into areas of the pitch, his ground duels, fantastic. 17 ground duels attempts, his ability to defend, his ability to get stuck in and win the majority of those ground duels. This is why fans of Manchester City love Jérémy Doku. I am one of them, by the way. I am very much one of the fans that love what Jérémy Doku brings to the table. But when you beat your man, you've got to make the right decision. Otherwise, beating your man was pointless to begin with, and we've given the ball away. He's got to get those decisions right. And by law of averages, if you want to play the numbers game effectively, I think Doku will start to get decent numbers in the assists and the goals column. Because if he so frequently beats his player, eventually he's going to get it right. If he beats that fullback 10, 15 times per game, eventually one of those crosses is going to find Erling Haaland. We just want to see it be a little bit more refined, a little bit more calculated and accurate. That's what City fans are complaining about. This is the problem with Jérémy Doku. And the area of his game that is so good is what these numbers are what people are excited about, me included. The end product, it's as simple as that. It's just got to be more refined. That's what City fans want to see. But he did not have a bad game yesterday, and he did not have a good game. I feel like 7 out of 10 is a reasonable score for Jérémy Doku. Get in the comments below and let me know what you think, because I know this guy is going to divide fans, and it's nothing to do with Jack Grealish, by the way, before anyone gets their panties in a bunch. Calm down on that one. It's nothing to do with Jack Grealish. I want Doku to start. He should be playing ahead of Jack Grealish in this system in particular. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below. Savinho, 45 minutes of football. Hopefully that injury isn't as bad. 23 touches to his name. But there you go. Look, that's what I'm talking about. That level of composure. Once you beat the player, make the right decision. Savinho's got 3 key passes to his name in 45 minutes of football. There was a little pass to Bernardo Silva that got himself a shot away. And that's the level of composure that we need to see from Jérémy Doku. The ability to explode and then calm down again. Just relax the muscles a little bit. It's all like nothing but explosiveness from Jérémy Doku, whereas Savinho's got this ability to kill that ball, slow the game down, make the fullback think everything's nice and relaxed, and then bang, explode again, and then slow down again, and make the right decision and get that cross into a decent area, or a cute little pass through the channels. Savinho seems like he's got that ability to go high and then low with the tempo. Doku needs to learn the slow side of his game. He needs to improve on the slow side of his game. The when when to slow down and when to speed up again. That's an area of Savinho's game that doesn't seem to need work. His right foot needs work. His right foot absolutely needs work, and we need to, something I'll be mentioning again in the tactical video, because once he went onto that right wing, I felt like he was beating Cucurella with ease, but then slowing the game down to not use his right foot. Only once did he try and cross it with his right foot, and it was cleared at the near post. Other than that, he slowed it down and tried to get it back onto his left foot, which is a concern, because we need to, if you're going to play on the right, mate, occasionally you're going to have to use your right foot. Ultimately, though, it was a solid debut, Premier League debut for Savinho. A real shame he came off at half-time. I mean, if he continued in that vein of form into the second half and played the full 90 minutes like Doku did, you're looking at a player that probably would have had a big impact in that second half. Could be looking at a much higher score. But considering he only played 45 minutes, I've given him a 7 out of 10. Erling Haaland, the last man to talk about. The 38% passing accuracy. We're talking about 8 passes there, by the way. That's 8 passes in total that he made in the game. Even so, 38% isn't good enough. He needs to work on that. That's an area of his game that's always going to be a concern for a lot of City fans, and I'm in complete agreement with them. The other area of his game is what often gets queried. If he misses chances, that's when people start really having a pop at Erling Haaland. But yesterday he had 2 chances, both hit the target, and one of them put them in the back of the net and give Manchester City a 1-0 lead. That's what he's on the pitch for. He's literally the man for goals, and he will be scored every time I score Erling Haaland. His score will always be around his job. What's his job? I'm not going to score him on how many times did he beat a player? Did he dribble past the fullback 3 or 4 times? No, that's not his game, man. I don't care about that with Erling Haaland. Did he get a chance? And if he didn't, well, I'm looking at the midfield. And if he did get a chance, did he take it? Yes, he did get a chance, and yes, he took it. He made it Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0. So for me, it was a great performance from Erling Haaland. Other areas of his game, hold-up play was reasonable as well. His decision-making in that moment to score the goal was fantastic. In his post-match interview, he said he remembers Robert Sanchez likes to stay on his line. That is a high IQ footballer, high IQ footballing finisher. You know, he's thinking like, what did the goalkeeper do last time? Robert Sanchez did not want to commit. So he said, I took an extra few touches, which was a gamble, but he used his strength. He said, piss off Cucurella and piss off Colwill. This is my ball. Just waited for Sanchez, forced him into a decision, and then he sat him on his arse, dinked it over 1-0 Manchester City. So that was superb play from Erling Haaland in a flash in the pan moment. It was absolutely superb, and it's what we've come to expect from him. Hopefully he can continue in that vein of form and head towards another 3 in a row Premier League Golden Boots, which I'm not sure that's ever been done. I don't know if that's ever been done. Get in the comments and find out for me, and let me know if that's ever been done. 3 Premier League Golden Boots in a row. What a start, Blues. What a start. Ipswich next. Get in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the player ratings. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.